Good morning and happy Sunday. Handy girl Rosie back on the job. The beautiful window in the back, and of course, just my luck, we don't have any sun this morning yet. The marine layers overhead, so has not had a chance to burn off, so you don't get the effect of the sun coming through the window there. But there's a lot more light over here, which I really like. Anyway, today, if we want to get to a point where we can start putting wall material up, whether it's drywall or cement backer board, we simply have got to be able to get the flooring down. Once we get the flooring down, then we can put the walls down. So today I want to concentrate on putting the flooring down and give you an idea what I hope to achieve here. Okay, we have two things we got to bear in mind here on this job. First thing is we can't have too much of a height difference. We can have about half an inch, even up to 3/4 inches between the hallway out there and the bathroom. That's okay. It's just a bump to sort of be gotten over. And if you're like Jen, you have powerful arms, and it's it's doable. Because we need that to have a little built up, because over here we're going to be putting a second level of mortar, and we're going to be putting tile on top of the shower mortar bed here. That means we have to lay this vinyl liner on here, and once that vinyl liner's on and the next part of the drain is hooked on down there, then we have to go ahead and put mortar over top of that, and that's going to take it up to about 3/4 of an inch over here on a lip over here. So we got to make sure that the tile from the shower area is going to meet the tile from the general bathroom room inside of here. So we're going to be bringing that in real tight right up against there. I'm going to be cleaning up this line here and getting the wood down, and then the subflooring down there, so we can pretty much roll forward here and move ahead, because Wednesday I would hope to put down maybe the vinyl liner and the next layer of mortar on top of that. So next weekend we can set in all the, we can make our goal to set in all the walls and everything. So having said that, it's time to clear out some stuff and get to work. Okay guys, the first thing I had to do was get down on the floor and remove some of the staples from the old flooring that was holding down the moisture barrier, and you can see I've accumulated all them. I'm going to vacuum real well, and then I'm going to go get the Aqua-Bar, and Aqua-Bar is like a it's like a moisture barrier. So in case moisture ever came up from below, not very likely, but it's pretty standard repertoire when you're doing new construction and remodeling to put down a moisture barrier. And then we'll be putting the rest of our subflooring down on top of that. I've also gone ahead over here and really cleaned up the area where the floor is going to meet the hardwood over there, because we're going to have a higher transition here, and we're going to be putting a wide strip on there to make it a little easier to get in and out. So, all right, I'm going to go get the Aqua-Bar now, and the heavy-duty stapler, and I'm also going to clean up this edge over here, because we need a good clean edge where the floor is going to meet the shower stall there. I want to build that up so it's about 3/4 of an inch above that level. So, all right, all the Aqua-Bar is down, so we got a good vapor barrier, vapor retard for underneath the floorment there. Looking good. I got a good clean line at the shower stall here. So I'm going to go ahead and mark out my first piece of plywood here. It's going to be a 5-foot sheet over here, and then I'm going to have some smaller pieces over here on the side. So I'm going to get the saber saw and cut that out and bring her in and give her a test fit on there. Moving right along, guys. I've got the 1/2-inch plywood substrate here. We're going to put the backer board right over top of this, and I'm starting to build up the thickness here on this side again, because we're going to need to have some slope down from there to the drain when we do our next mortar bed. And we want to make sure we have a uniform connection, so when we go to a tile, we have a very smooth transition there when the mortar comes up and sweeps to the edge of the that barrier there. So it should be all good. So I'm going to go ahead and finish using some special screws to get this screwed down to the subfloor, the very thick redwood rafters, the 2.5-inch stuff down there. So I'm going to keep rolling. Okay, sheet number 2 down, and I like to stagger and offset the joints. You try to think about what's going to get a lot of wear, and of course by the sink and the toilet. So you want to try to avoid having any seams over there. That's a logical place to have a horizontal seam, north to south sort of seam there. So I've just got to fit one small piece over here, and that piece is should get minimal traffic because the door's open and closed, and it's just on the other side of the closet there. So keep moving along, keep rolling. Alright, that's done. We got all the plywood set in, and the next thing to do now, I need to undercut under the door. The door jams a little more underneath it there because there's still not enough room to get the backer board and the towel. So I'll go ahead and trim that back, and then I'll go start preparing the Hardibacker board. And that's the stuff that we'll eventually adhere the towel to and get that down here. So we got a good solid subfloor. We've got a good floor with no more of the humps that used to be in the old one, as the rotten wood was swollen from water infiltration. It's all good. Alright, backer board 1 roughed into place, a really nice fit. You know, it really pays when you're doing remodel and construction to take extra time and make sure everything is square. You don't want any walls running at angles to the floor. You know, you just start to get all kinds of problems that compound. So it's very easy to prep the toilet hole. I might need to just trash this one. I probably need one with a little, since our floor is a tad bit higher, I'll probably get an elbow with a little more length on it here to go down a little lower, and it should be all good there. So alright, I'm just going to rough fit the second piece and the third piece, and I'll come back and get her all screwed down. Alright, all backer board is cut, and now I'm going ahead and just hooking it down here with the Hardibacker screws. And you'll see over here I did something. I wanted to make sure that I had enough to work with when I go to put the secondary mortar bed down. You know, we're going to have a vinyl liner that goes down here, and then we're going to be putting mortar on top of that. So I wanted to make sure I'm going to have a thick enough bed of mortar, so I wanted to just slightly taper and let a little bit of rise on that backer board. And I can always float the tile on the main room. And then over here, of course, there'll be smaller tile. We may use small tile there because it's easier to work with a slope. But anyway, I made sure it's a little higher on this end than down here. Just another probably a 1/4 of an inch or so. And that'll give us a nice additional level of to work up to when we put the next mortar bed down. So now I'm going to go ahead and just screw down the rest of the backer board here, and then later I'll cut these shims. Well guys, it certainly wasn't the most glamorous day today in terms of looking like a lot of stuff got done around here. But getting the flooring in place and ready to receive tile was major. Okay, so all of the backer board is now down. It's been secured really well with the screws, and this will be an outstanding surface to take the finished tile. You can see our lip's pretty good out here. We'll probably end up with about a 1/2 inch, and that's not bad for a transition strip to be on there. And if we come inside, we're almost achieving the final height for the toilet flange there. And once I check that, I have to crawl under the house and kind of take a look. We'll glue that together with the ABS glue, and we'll use the screws to get this hooked down into place. And we'll make sure that we set these screws the right distances from the wall, because we, that's where the toilet bolts down to that. So we have to be real careful with that. Yeah, so that got done. We got the window put in, and the window's definitely a beauty. I could not be more thrilled with that. I also ended up sort of raising this up a little bit here, the backer board, to give us tiny little rise there, so we could build up a deeper mortar bed for our second go over here, so we get a good slope down to the drain. I don't ever want any issues with water moving the wrong way, so that's exactly, you know, I'm going to need that height to get the good pitch down to the drain. So I'm going to call it a day. As usual, I want to thank you for being along. It's always fun to have company when you're doing this stuff, and Jen's always a marvelous help. So until next time, thanks for being here for the bathroom renovation in the casa.